Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is Dr. Lynn here. Today I'm going to be talking about regenerating your life and talking about how nature teaches us that. Nature teaches us exactly how to regenerate our life. I'm going to be sharing with you a few goddesses from different traditions and looking at their lives and talking about them and what they represent and taking some inspiration from them and seeing how that applies into your own life. And then also ending this with talking about a few tools in terms of how we can work with these energies, how we can work with the elements of fire, the elements of smoke, and how can we apply it to regenerating our life. I'm going to be going on a walk today because I feel like this is what's needed and I want to get my body moving. So let's go and let's talk about regenerating your life from a divine feminine perspective. So let's go. From Chinese medicine view, I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine, and anything that I share with you is all purely educational. It's all really to apply to your own life and to understand the inspiration, right? And get the inspiration from nature, to get the inspiration from these archetypes, to get these inspirations that pulls out those qualities in you, because we all have those qualities. We all have the qualities of regenerating ourselves in resilience, in strength, in courage, and bravery, which oftentimes it takes all of those things to get through really difficult, challenging, and turbulent times. Have you ever had a moment where you were just felt hopeless? You felt so overwhelmed and stressed that you were like, I can't do this. I have no idea how I'm going to get through this point or how I'm going to even manage how to pull myself out of the situation or out of my feelings of sadness and grief. Trust me, I've been there. I went through a really difficult breakup like a few years ago, and that breakup actually catapulted me into taking the best decision I made in my life, which was to go travel by myself, to go learn about myself, to go explore the world and meet new communities and meet new people, and to, just find out who I really was and what I really wanted. And that was a point in my life during that breakup, during that relationship transition. I realized a lot about myself. And during that time, the fire and the smoke goddess was a very clear archetype in my life. And that clear archetype in my life really reminded me that things break down. Fire comes, destruction happens, chaos happens in our relationships, to the best of us, to our businesses, to things that happen. And there's a lot of grief and a lot of sadness and so much loss, and the need to take space and time to process those things. I really did that in this relationship, in this time where I moved away from that relationship and I changed my entire life, and I completely ended up doing something different I've never done before, which was I went to Costa Rica by myself. I decided to come here and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go explore by myself. And that's something that has always nourished me. I went solo traveling in Europe for a long time, like many years ago. But that was always something that really nourished me. So I said, okay, I'm gonna completely change my life. I'm going to feel this grief, feel this sadness, but I'm also gonna grow. I'm also gonna change and shift. So at that time, the fire and the smoke goddess were with me. And what that means is there's different goddesses within different traditions, within different cultures and traditions. And I am no expert of these traditions or cultures. And I highly recommend you go and research these traditions and cultures before you continue your work with any of these goddesses. But these are goddesses that I have seen, I have learned about, and I have resonated with when I am thinking about fire and movement and transformation and transition in my life. Because I've done a lot of deep transitional work and transformational work in my life. You can even call it shadow work. And I think many of these archetypes of the goddesses help us with those things. So, for example, from the Hindu tradition, Kali Ma is a goddess of destruction and chaos. So she burns away anything that is in her way, any obstacle that is no longer aligned in life. And I really felt that at this time. I really felt like in this relationship where there was a lack of honesty, a lack of transparency, a lack of communication, I really felt like, okay, this relationship needed to break down, and that's okay. There's something for me to learn in that. So definitely feeling that Kali Ma vibe Definitely feeling that strong need to break down a relationship that didn't need to be there, that wasn't serving me anymore. And so with that, I feel oftentimes you can sense these goddesses. Like once you really start working with them, you can sense their presence. And from a Chinese medicine perspective, fire is such a potent element. It's a potent element of purification and cleansing, right? You make a fire because you want to keep warm, right? Traditionally, our ancient cultures created fires because we were creating this hearth, we were creating this place, this center for warmth and for protection and for light. In so many ways, fire can be this destructive force and it can be this enlightening force, this awakening force that catapults you into something much better in your life, which happened exactly to me. And so when we're talking about regenerating our lives, regenerating your life, know that the fire and the smoke goddess, the fire, that aspect of it, is meant for breaking down, turning things back to ash, turning things back to zero, and then getting us to potentially awaken to the next part, the next version of us. And nature does this as well. We can learn everything from nature. The ancient Taoists learned so much about Chinese medicine and built a lot of Chinese philosophy on nature itself. So I take a lot of inspiration from that, and I learn a lot about what it's like to apply that to my own life. And we can look at nature directly to know, right? When leaves fall from a tree, essentially those leaves fall and they provide all of that compost and decomposed material for more energy for the tree and plants around it. And it's exactly that. Oftentimes when we have smoke and fire in our lives and something's breaking down, such as a relationship, like in my case, it was like all of that was creating fertilizer for the next part of me. And so when we think about regenerating our lives, we can also think about it in that way, that there's a part of us that is breaking down, and there's a part of life that is breaking down and changing and shifting and going through major transformation. And that can feel really hard and challenging. There's a lot of grief in that. And know that you're not alone, because that happens so often. And that if you do need support during times like that, seek that support. Because for me, I had to lean on community, my family, my friends. I had to lean on myself, on my practices, the things that really nourish me. And that's another part of the fire. Fire is about connection. It's about community. And from a neurobiological perspective, the fire element from Chinese medicine is most connected to our ventral vagus nerve, the ventral vagus part of our vagus nerve. So the ventral part of our nerve is most connected to community, play, support, asking for help. And so that is another part of fire, is teaching us how to do that, teaching us how to ask for help, teaching us how to ask for our community, seek support. So that's another aspect. And then we go to the smoke. Why is the smoke important? Why is the smoke important to regenerating our lives? Because smoke is a reminder that things are burning, something is being purified. And in many ways, what I've learned is that smoke carries messages we can't see. It also clears away the path. So oftentimes, what happens I live in Costa Rica, it's a tropical climate, and sometimes you have to blow smoke or have a fire in order to keep the bugs away. So that's needed sometimes to clear away the energy and the life, to shift our perspective. And that is needed as a signal to others that there is some change happening, that there is some clearing happening in the space. So I wonder, what is all this stimulating in you as I'm talking about this? I like learning from the goddess Pele, from the the Hawaiian traditions. The Hawaiian tradition of the volcano goddess, that the volcanoes have so much to teach us. They have so much to teach us about erupting and then creating new land by destroying. And think about that for a second. We are creating new land by destroying. And that is so needed, right? That is so needed for this next point of our lives, is creating and destroying. I'm going to grab a hibiscus because this is one of my things that I do. This is one of my things that I do on a walk. Oftentimes I grab a little hibiscus from the hibiscus bush, and I love putting it in my hair, because one of the things that we're really here for is to enjoy life, to enjoy the process of a journey, of a walk, and to be like, look at this tree, and oh my gosh, look at the sky, look at the flowers. And I learned a lot of that through Buddhism and a lot of mindfulness practices, but just learning that I am here to experience life and to have fun on the journey, even though it feels so hard and there's so much grief and so much loss and so much destruction. There is community, and seek community, seek help, ask for help in any way that can be there for you, in any way that's accessible to you. And frankly, there's a lot of places that don't have those resources. And so finding the resources that are available for you, whether it's your family, your brother, your sister, it can be plants, it can be the sun, it can be your feet on the ground. You know, one thing that I learned from Buddhism is that we can always come back to our breath. We can always come back to our breath. We can always come back to the breath in the in and the breath out. That's one tool that I want to leave with you guys today, is breathing. The second tool is a journaling practice. So doing something called morning pages is really wonderful, because morning pages has radically changed my life. Journaling has radically changed my life. Being able to put your thoughts, all of your emotions on paper is so validating, without a need to share that with another person or feel like you have to disclose anything to another person. Being able to have that private one-on-one space for yourself is so healing. And the third is to work with fire any way you can. So take a candle, you can do a little fire, right? A safe contained fire. You can even have a little cauldron, a little space where you burn different plants and different herbs in the safest way possible. But having a way where you connect with fire, being an ally on your side, and remembering that. Because fire has been used for thousands of years, supporting our ancestors, supporting us in healing. And so remember that. And also, I'm gonna give you a little bonus here for the fire, is to laugh. Literally laugh, because this is something I have to remind myself as a super Capricorn being, which is laugh, enjoy, have fun, and not take it so seriously. Because the laughing Buddhas knew that life is so much more than like just being serious all the time and scriptures and concepts. It's actually just like being here, laughing, enjoying, seeing flowers, looking at the sky, being with your friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. I will be sharing more Chinese medicine, divine feminine insights, and more on wellness and healing and spirituality. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'm out of breath. Whew!